Feel the rhythm, taste the love. We're making up the best. Imani's original, a color above the rest. Sweet, savory, every bite's divine. Bean pie's fresh every single time. Taste the magic in every slice. Come on, now don't think twice. And Imani's tasting right. Dance along, party all night. Ooh, yeah, we're feeling fine. Imani's love is so divine. Every flavor, oh so true. Bite into love made just for you. Celebrate with each delight. Imani's gonna make it right. Feel the heat, it's rising high. Dance, dance on the moonlit sky. Imani's vibes, it's you and I. Together we reach for the sky. Imani's tasting right. Dance along, party all night. Ooh, yeah, we're feeling fine. Imani's love is so divine.
Peace, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Conversations Over Pie, where we serve up truth, hope, and a slice of bean pie in every episode. I'm your host, Imani Muhammad, founder of Imani's Original Bean Pies, and I'm so grateful you're tuning in as we uplift stories that shift the narrative in our communities. This is a special episode for me personally. Today's guest trained my son nearly 30 years ago and continues to lead in martial arts and youth development. In fact, about it, he has trained all my children and me. I'm honored to welcome my teacher, my elder, and a living legacy, Dr. Abdul Azziz Muhammad. And he has with us his lovely wife, whom I affectionately call Mama Aziza Muhammad. Welcome to Conversations Over Pie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Yes, and I want to greet you all properly with Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, man.
And we're just going to get right into it, as I said. And I wanted to talk about first legacy, because I called you a living legacy, right? So I want to talk about like martial arts. You know, when did you begin with martial arts and why this journey?
Oh my goodness. Well, it was in the late 60s that I started, you know, as a child. And it progressed, of course, you know, but when I was a fighter, you know, and I realized later on where it came from. My mom and my dad, they both had, you know, they were active, and you know, and I said I learned later because I had my mother one time actually start and come into class with me, but she was so strong, I said, Ma, I don't think I can teach you because you're gonna hurt somebody. but nonetheless, I started in the late 60s, and in the early like 70, 71 is when I was in Muhammad University of Islam, and we were getting training there because our school with the Nation of Islam, see, we didn't have sport in place, so we didn't have basketball at school. We didn't have baseball at school. We had martial arts and boxing, you know, and through that, you know, that's where it really kicked off. And Dr. Moses Powell, at that time, it was Master Moses, and he sent someone up to teach in Muhammad University, named Brother it was Brother Leon. I'm sorry, Brother Leon, and he was a brown belt, and that's where the Sanukis started for me. And then I started, you know, we went around, and I had training as a child in the children's class, and then I wound up and found my way to the adult class.
Wow. So that's a lot of history. So before I move on, I have more questions regarding that. But Mama Aziza, I wanted you to kind of touch on when you started martial arts and why.
I started back in 1990, and one of the reasons that I started was because I worked in an environment that I had to definitely uh, be aware of everything going on and be able to defend myself if necessary. I worked in the New York City Department of Correctional Services. So um, it made sense to train. I met the doc when I um, attended an event that our department had, I should say, the whole correctional department had in honoring
Olympic.
Olympic participants. So I was one of the participants. We had a police Olympics every year, and I competed in track and field. So I went to the event after much coaching from another officer that I worked with, and that's where I met Doc. And when I heard him talk about the martial arts, I said, okay, this is something that I need to look into. There's a little backdrop story to that, but, we'll leave that on the side. But I was determined to see what this was all about. And I would say in 1990, started training with him in one of the schools, the high schools that he was at, Paul Robeson High School in Brooklyn.
And that meeting wasn't for just participants, it was for medal winners. And she was one of the gold medal winners in that. And while she was every police Olympics, while she was outside running, we were inside competing.
So we never met.
We never met actually in yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So what I'm hearing, you said your mom was tough and you went and married someone that's tough. You all are sounding so calm and so serene here. But I'm over here like jumping because every time I hear that, when I first learned of where you all worked in New York, I said, oh yeah, they bad. I mean, I couldn't believe it. The most I knew I don't know if we can name the place, but the most I knew about that place was Coco T's song. And you didn't want to go there. So
some of the stories we can tell you would make you not want to go there too.
That's right. That's right.
That's true. So I mean, I didn't want to just go past that all easy because when we talk about martial arts and we talk about not just martial arts, but being the Islam and the safety, the military that people think about. I mean, I don't want them to think this is like just like some type of smoke screen. This is real. This is for real, and not even just in a physical way, but in a mental and spiritual way as well.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I knew, hey, I could run fast, but I didn't know how fast I could move these hands, or what I could do with them. So I had to fortify myself with something else besides the ability to take flight.
Yes. So, as a longtime mentor and teacher, how do you see martial arts serving young people today, especially in cities like Chicago?
Well, it's absolutely necessary. One would look at it like they're already running around like they're mad and whatnot, but it's about the discipline. It's about, what I say to my students, that the physical is only 10% of what is being taught. It's 90% mental and spiritual and 10% physical. Because if your mental is not where it needs to be, and you could be a black belt and all of that and get decimated because your mind is not what it needs to be. So we're teaching, we teach to develop the mind so that you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And if you face some condition that is, really troubling, that you'll be able to manage going through it.
Right. And so I talk a lot about self-defense on so many different levels. First of all, it's called self-defense. Sometimes you got to defend yourself from yourself, or you need to defend your mental well-being, if you will. But my producer is asking me to move on into our next segment. So before doing that, I must say this. We're featuring Imani's original vegan pies today. I know people are asking. Usually I'm not eating while I'm talking. That's just me. So I know a lot of people think I'm eating the pie, but I try to sometimes. But you all see that I have it, and we'll be featuring vegan pies this week. So I'll talk about that later in the segment. And we want to move on. I want to play a clip before I move into our next segment, because in our next segment, we're going to be talking about something big that's coming up the end of next month. So allow me to play this clip real quick, and then we can come back.
Okay.
You need to know how. You need to know how to defend the greatest gift that God has given to each of us, and that is the precious gift of life. But you got to put the time in. You got to discipline your body and your mind and take the pain that you must take in order to move to the next level of physical combat. Our example must be so compelling that people want to be what we are. Because what we are is what they are. I'm under orders to take care of this. I'm under orders to treat this right, because this is the real house of God.
That's right.
When you eat properly, think properly, and weigh properly, you are absolutely a beautiful human being.
It's the 30th Annual National Training Conference, July 24th through the 27th. Conference will be held at the Tinley Park Convention Center, 18451 Convention Center Drive, Tinley Park, Illinois. Register you and the entire family at the VSK Jiujitsu.com. Don't miss it.
Oh my. So before we move on, I was looking for another clip, but I certainly can't argue with that one. I thought she was going to play the one about the youth, but it's all interconnected. But before we move on, can we bring in Brother Calvin Muhammad? Assalamu alaikum, Brother Calvin.
Walaikum salam.
And welcome to Conversations Over Pie. You came in right on time, brother, because we're about to delve into talking about the convention, the conference. And I'm trying to get that right, because I used to always call it seminar.
That's right.
But Mama Aziza corrected me. It's so huge now. It's a conference.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about, I don't know, to me, it's thousands of people there. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt it that I'm wrong. Way more from back, like 30 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
keep
Yes,
saying
ma'am.
that because, well, you look so young. I know people saying 30 years of what? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw these 3 questions out at you all, because I know if I ask one, you're going to answer the other one anyway. So maybe I'll do 2. So tell us about the VSK Jiu-Jitsu conference coming up in July. What's the vision behind the youth, adult, and women's workshops? And then what are you most excited for attendees to walk away with from this conference?
Man. Brother Calvin, come on, you can get started.
Yes, sir. I do want to apologize first. If you hear my stomach, when I was backstage, and I was like, oh, I like this podcast already. You know. So thank you for having us on. It's truly an honor. And, you know, in regards to your first question, if you could restate that again, just so I have it correctly.
Yep. Tell us about the VSK Jiujitsu conference coming up in next month in July. What's the vision behind the youth, the adult, and the women's workshops?
Ooh, those are some powerful questions. And the first one in and of itself is one, you know, we're looking at our 30th year. Of course, under the inspiration of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, input, of course, from our Executive Council and our Student Supreme Captain, of course, culminated by Dr. Abdul Azziz Muhammad and his beautiful wife. It's hard to put into words and encapsulate exactly what the National Training Conference is. Of course, founded by the founder and the system of USOS, USOS, I almost said KC, USOS, the United Schools of Survival. Now, I can remember the first conference, and in its origin, it was something that was put together to give the brothers and sisters within the Nation of Islam, starting first thinking about the brothers and the officers, to give us some type of standardized training. Of course, you know that we are taught that we protect ourselves and our own. And so we wanted to have some type of standardized training so that we can be efficient in that. Now, fast forwarding, we're on our 30th year. This has grown exponentially to not only where we're training the brothers, we're training the sisters. Not only are we training the brothers and the sisters, but we're training the children all the way. And we're even watching the babies so that they can be prepared to join the national training. So what it has grown into is truly preparing for survival. And so we went from those initial courses that we got on security, and we've expanded now to deal with disaster preparedness. We've expanded to deal with how to grow proper nutrition. We've expanded. There were conferences and there were workshops on dealing with stewarding our mental health. We've had conferences and workshops dealing with community engagement. We've had conferences and workshops dealing with de-escalation, with the conflict resolution. There's so much that we have covered over the 30 years and expanded the audience over the 30 years. Even to now, we have an international watching, like you just said. You know, there are people who tune in, and especially during the pandemic, people who are tuning in to get glimpses of the conference all over the world. And so when we talk about what the National Training Conference is, it is now an international training conference, and it is something that is put in place that so many other communities have. You have so many other communities out there that are preparing and training their people for what they believe is coming, but our community has always been neglected. And this is an answer to what our community can prepare for so that we can survive as well. So in a nutshell, that's what we're looking at with the National Training Conference, as you so beautifully mentioned. And then just a segue into the importance of the youth, because this is an area of the conference that has grown and developed. And if I can think, I was told as a young man that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that if you're planning to build a mosque and not a school to educate the youth, then you're preparing to die. And so what this conference has done is cultivating future leadership on a various amount of topics for our youth. And I'm sure we'll get a little bit more into that. And so that's just in a nutshell. And I apologize. I'm so excited about July 24th through the 28th. I can't wait to get there. I feel like moving to Chicago just so I can be ready. That's
Brother Calvin, your presence is so huge. I thought you were already here.
Yes, ma'am.
So I feel you, and I'm so glad. I'm excited about your excitement, because you just touched on everything that this show is about, right? So Conversations Over Pie started out of just being tired of hearing all of the negative news about Chicago and our youth. And I'm like, well, am I in a different world? Because the young people that I'm around, you know, they're doing a lot of great things. And I wanted to highlight that. And you just reminded me, you had me thinking of many of the youth that have come through the dojo that are doing so many great things. Like we could spend this week just talking about that alone.
Yes.
But the conference is a whole ecosystem, if you will allow me to say that.
Perfect.
It balances out everything, the entire family. So there's something for mom and dad, there's something for the grandparents, there's something for the youth, there's something for women. You know,
Exactly.
so I don't want to, I like to listen on my show more than talk. So I want to give Doc a chance to.
You talking what you need to be saying, though. I tell you that. That's great stuff.
Oh, believe me, I'm going to do some commentaries. Yes.
Well, you know, in reference to the youth, over the years of us going from a high school gym to a park district, to a small hotel, to a little larger hotel, to a convention center, another convention center, another convention center. The youth, everywhere we've gone,
That's right.
we have had great feedback from the people who ran those venues.
Yes.
So that included our youth as well. There were never any problems with the youth during those times.
That's right.
That's right.
You know, so the youth is coming up with the spirit of wanting and needing to know more, to do more. They are responsible, and they still have fun.
That's right.
Shoot, we still have fun.
That's right.
Lots and lots of fun.
That's right.
So, and like I said, you cover everything. We even have a banquet, right?
Ooh, yes.
You all want to touch on that real quick as well?
Well, the banquet is on Saturday evening. So this year, though, what we put in place is a Friday night party, so that people could be a little looser than they are sitting at a banquet table, and so on and so forth. But they can just have fun, dance, so on and so forth. So we have a Friday party for all of the registrants that are coming. And if you didn't register, it's just $20 anyway to go ahead and go to the go to the party. It's
okay.
Dressed in your best of whites.
Can you all tell them where they go to register?
Oh, yes. But let me just talk about the banquet then, and I'll give the thing. The banquet is on Saturday night. We'll be giving out some awards to some of the martial art community as well as others. And we're going to have a great dinner. We're going to have live music. We also have a really special, I'll say, a special performance coming, doing the waltz. Oh, we're going to show the most fine, we're going to, help me out, Calvin. We're going to show
it's going to be fancy.
Yes, we're going to show them in their finest, finest. We're their finest.
Higher level.
Posture. I mean, we're doing it. We're doing
That's
it.
right.
We're going to show that we can do everything on every level, and we can do it. So that's what
we have a lot of fun.
Yes. So you can go to VSK Jiujitsu, and that's V as in victory, S as in Sam, K as in kite, JIUJITSU. Thank you. It's right there on the screen.
And you can actually take a shot of that QR code and get right into it.
That's right.
We make it easy for you. And everything always done above board.
Come on.
As we would talk, quick thinking, fast moving, straight on down to the time.
That's right.
So, oh man, I'm excited because So what if, can you give us pricing? Like some people like myself, may have to get on the mat, but then there's some that may want to come and observe and just be a part of the workshops and everything.
And that's why it's best to just tune in, like go to the website, because it's so many different aspects that one can go into, and that would be the best way to do that.
But let me make something clear though, because you mentioned about if you just want to watch. Well, you can't watch the workshops. To go into the workshop areas, you have to be a participant. Okay. You can watch this Saturday big martial arts event. You can spectate that, where you don't have to be on the mat and be taught by the masters. But, this is a day and time when we all need to be taught something when it comes to our physical self-defense, because the world has changed dramatically. So I really encourage everybody, whether you've trained at all, to get on the mat so that you could go home with something. And that also leads back to the other question that you had. What do we want to see them leave with? We want to see them leave with something that is very monumental to them, that they know will help them in survival. Whether it be, okay, I've got this information, I can go home and start my garden. Okay. Or it's, wow, I can help my child who's struggling through this, these mental things in high school and peer pressure and all of that stuff. I have information now. I have people I can reach out to, resources that I can grab to help me with that. We also would like for people to be able to go home with even at least one technique that you make your own.
That's right.
Okay, I got this. So somebody choked me, you know what I'm saying? So these are the kind of things we want to make sure they go home with, and they go home with a spirit of love. They go home with a spirit of wanting to bring back information to their community, and they go home with a spirit of wanting to come back the next year.
That's right.
Yes.
And know this though too. Many times we talk, give a lot of weight to the martial arts, but really, I mean, even in this particular situation, we have martial arts that have come from all around the country and outside of the country, but there is so much more than martial arts that's in this at this event. There are various workshops that has nothing to do with martial arts. That will help you to defend yourself. It just won't be from martial arts perspective. So, just want you to know that there's a lot of that, and we can share. Actually, Brother Calvin shared some of it, from what we've had, but perhaps we can do a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because I could remember, learning to store your food.
Yes.
In a time of need. I always talk about a story during the Hurricane Katrina. There was a couple of families, but because they had jarred so much food, they were able to survive. They had their survival pack, and they were actually able to survive on the roof while they waited days to be discovered and rescued.
Wow.
Yes. We don't know how things are going to turn out.
That's right.
But I just want to thank you all, myself, for just making sure that we get this information, that we've been taught in the Nation of Islam. But we know that information is just information unless we apply it.
That's right. That's right.
And this is what the conference gives us a chance to do.
Yes.
To work on it and to meet people from all over the world.
Yes.
When I was young, I wanted to do martial arts so badly, but my parents couldn't afford it. So I would sit up and watch Samurai Sunday every Sunday, but I never saw myself, if you will. The blessing was when I got to know you, At the time, you were a professor, come to think of it.
Yes.
And yeah, and it was like you've brought so many heroes to us. I'm gonna call them that, if you don't mind. But masters in the art, I didn't even know that many Black masters existed until I was an adult. And here we are. We've been given a chance every year to meet, talk to these different masters that have dedicated their lives like you.
Yes.
So, and you were my son's superhero back in the day. When he found out that you had been on in the Ninja Turtles movie, that just blew his, because he used to wear Ninja Turtle shoes that lit up. Now he was 5, y'all. No, he was like under 5, but so he was just, you were his hero. So he was always, as years progressed, we would be driving down the street and he'd say, I remember he took me here or he did that. So I thank you all the time, but on nationally, I want to thank you for being, because I didn't let everybody keep my children.
Yes, ma'am.
You all just used to have them all day. And that was the highlight, of his life. So I just want to thank you all personally. And as we delve back into it, because we're talking about people are wanting to know what to do with their youth, what to do with them. And here we have the Nation of Islam. I don't know what we have to do
right
to prove any further, what comes out of this. I wouldn't care what anyone says at this point. It's going to help my son. My son was in junior FOI classes at the mosque. I can't see it, but that's my thinking personally. We know what has worked, and it's been, FOI for our young boys and MGT for our young girls. So I want you all to kind of talk a little bit about that, and I'm gonna try not to go too far over.
Oh, well, let me mention this. I saw a social media piece, and it was some brothers that were not in the nation, and they were just talking about helping young men and so forth. And what one of the brothers said is that I got to say that he said I have to say that I don't know anyone better that can help people come from nothing, way down on the bottom and bring them up like the Nation of Islam. And one of the brothers said, well, I don't know about that, and he said, well, he talked about his fraternity and whatnot. And then he says, listen, just think about this. See, in fraternities, you're talking about someone who is going to college, someone who is at a level already in their thinking and helping them. He said, but tell me who is going to take somebody that's on drugs, that's in these conditions that are really troubling, and change them and make them stand up and even be ready for college. And no one had any answer to that. He said, you're right. You're right. And that is the truth. You see that, we are able and have been able, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, have been able to take the least of our people, the downtrodden, and bring them up to a level that now can be respected, that most people don't even look for. Even the church is not looking for the most deprived because they don't have the most money either.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
That's right.
We can't argue with that. And I think it was I did see that, and there was another brother, Tariq Nasheed, that said, when we really look at this, no one has gave us the truth and proved it like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
So much so that now we can look, we just say the minister. Who am I talking about? It. Everybody knows.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Mhm.
People have tried to say it. It's not going to even work because you haven't you haven't even touched the hem of his garment, to be honest.
That's
You can't compare.
Yes.
So I didn't want to, and also I made the point about the masters. Can you talk about, like, we have had a lot of masters throughout the years to come and teach us, and that I don't want to pass by that as well.
No, that's good.
Sister Imani,
Yes,
can we
ma'am.
go back to the FOI and MGT?
Yes, ma'am.
Share
And
a
then
little-
we'll go. Yep, we'll move on.
Okay, because the MGT, Muslim Girls in Training and General Civilization class, helps. Oh my God, it's when you talk about it takes a village to raise a child. Here you have the MGT GCC class that is teaching us, whether we're babies or whether we're in our 90s. Okay, we're going through classes that teach us how to take care of ourselves, our children, our husband, how to be clean, how to show love. I mean, like you said, the family that was prepared with their food. So we have canning classes. We're learning how to can our food. We learn how to sew our garments so we don't have to wear the garments of the world that show everything. Okay, we're
Yes, ma'am.
learning, how to take care of our bodies inside and out, what to eat, what not to eat, and these are things that we're teaching the children as we come along too. Their studies are not any different from what we get as adults. Because see, they're being adults and we want them to be even better than us. So these are the things that the MGT and GCC class is training on every day. And occasionally we have special trainings where we invite the community to come and learn how to can. And,
Yes.
doing more of that, of course, I'm sure, when it comes to sewing and things like that. But that's what the MGT class does. It helps to raise the woman, know her value, okay, so that she can walk with her head up high in these streets that, some people may be even afraid to walk in.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for talking about that, because we know that we were taught that 75% of the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was with the woman. She's our first teacher, right? But then you said something key to me, because you just said not just the young girl or young lady, but as we progress in age as well, there's things that I'm like, I didn't even have a clue, at this age now. And, sometimes we can almost I don't want to say take for granted, but you get used to, your surroundings. And I'm used to being able to call somebody like you, and kind of get an understanding to what I'm going through.
Right.
And so you just hit on a whole lot.
That's
Yes,
beautiful.
ma'am.
So in terms of the masters, most, like, just like our minds and history, we're forgotten in history, and but there are so many Black masters, in Chicago here, and all around, the country. There's so many, and the objective is to introduce our community and people in general to these masters. So, this is why the National Training Conference, it is so powerful. And we have, I mean, I don't know, normally we're about 40, maybe 40 masters, on deck, ready to give.
Wow.
And I have to sometimes limit, the exposure of them, because there are just so many, and we want to get all of those to everyone that's participating and present to experience. But we put the best of our masters out there now, and they are really something, and they've been that, and this is one of the locations that they get an opportunity to show themselves to many to many people and not just the few students that's in their class.
That's right. That's right. And not only are there thousands of people at the convention, but from my understanding, some people are able to even see worldwide.
That's right. Online. Absolutely.
So that's another thing, another reason why people should go to the website to kind of see all of the offerings. There's something for everyone in every situation.
That's right.
Indeed. You know, I'll just backtrack a little bit because I wanted to make mention that our youth division starts at 8 years old. So 8 to 12, they're going to have their own conference. They're going to even have their own party. Okay. And then we have the 13 on up who have their own conference.
Wow. And it's funny you bring that up about the youth and the age, because I can remember this was many years ago. There was a brother that had a clothing store in the downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He had a clothing store, and somehow I think he ordered pies for me. That's what happened. I ended up going because it was like a men's store. And he was sharing with me that he did work for the minister.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, we just came back from the seminar. And he said, oh, I know all about it. He said the minister, he was so excited. And he was able to tell me all about the children. I think Sensei Dwayne's son was young then, and little Yasin at the time. To tell you how many years ago that was. And he shared with me, and I was so excited just to know how excited that the minister was about. And he's come to so many of the the conventions. Yeah, he's always excited about it, and as he should be, because this is what we're doing here, not only in Chicago but all over. We're building families, communities, you know, that we're proud of, to be who we're back to who we really are.
That's right.
You know, and so if you want to come back home, you should be at that conference come July 24th in some capacity.
Absolutely.
But Calvin, did you want to add anything?
You know, I'm just marveling at just listening and reflecting on all of the questions and answers that are given. And, you know, I was just listening to Dr. Abdul Azziz Muhammad mention about the masters. And while he was talking, I had a reflection, and I believe you might remember this, when our dear Dr. Moses Powell, Musa Muhammad was present. And we had the opportunity to travel all across the country to train with of course, Dr. Abdul Azziz Muhammad and get that training. And that was a lot. That hard work laid the foundation to establish these relationships with all of these masters now from all over the world who are coming in. And it's literally thousands of hours of experience you're going to have in one place. And so you get different perspectives. And, you know, the National Training Conference, I don't know if you remember, there's a martial arts movie called The Best of the Best, where they got the best. And then from the best, they got the best of the best. And so what has been cultivated over these 3 decades, and every time I say 3 decades, I say in my mind, wow, but what has been cultivated over these 3 decades is the best of the best masters that, of course, are a direct reflection of the people that they are teaching. That's important, especially someone, I was born in 76. For probably the first 10 years of my life, I thought that martial artists, with the exception of Chuck Norris, really only existed out of Asia. And so, you know, this coming in contact with this art has completely transformed my thinking of the martial arts. And as a student, it gave me the sense or the capability of not only can I become good, but I can become great because I'm seeing my people being the greatest that I've ever seen. And so I wouldn't take for granted definitely the masters that are coming, they don't wear that term lightly. And when they come and they give, and the beautiful thing about their expertise is it doesn't matter what your knowledge level is. You can come in there in a wheelchair and leave with something that you can use before you can get to the parking lot. And so I just want to encourage everybody to come on through the martial arts portion. This is the national training altogether. If you look at Friday and Saturday, you're looking at about 17, 18 hours of training. And the martial arts is a glimpse of that. It's about 4 to 5, maybe at the most. And so when you get to the opportunity to get that training along with everything else you got, it is going to make an impact in your mind that you wouldn't believe that could be happening as far as yourself with the martial arts. So.
You know, there's one other thing, Sister Imani, that just came to my mind. We are also within the conference having a women's only workshop, and our topic, for the year is triumph over trials. So we'll be having a really nice panel of women speaking about their triumphs over particular trials, or just trials in general, and sharing their experiences and their takeaways from the things that they've gone through. That always seems to help somebody sitting there listening. And then the men, they have their own workshop as well, and that takes place early Saturday morning. So women, please come out, be a part of it, come here, share, and, release.
And maybe even get some of the questions that we may have in our own minds answered.
That's
Absolutely.
Right.
Man.
I remember one of my elders used to always say, I think it was Brother Moniz, to say, I'm just trying to make it a little easier for you.
Right.
So when you have that kind of wisdom in the room, you can make it easy for some people.
That's right.
And that's what we should be there for. I also wanted to mention that if people in Chicago, they can also start attending the dojo as soon as this week, right?
That's right.
So I want to talk about where the dojo is located.
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the South Shore community.
Yes, indeed. It's right next to across from, in a catacomb type of way, diagonally from the country club.
The South
Shore Country Club is right there. But we're right on Yates at 71st Street. And our address is 7112 South Yates Boulevard. And there's a little strip mall there. There's a laundromat, and we're on the second floor upstairs. So, we have, of course, having a great time. And there's no one else on the second floor. It's just us.
That's right. So
if you're interested in coming by, we offer a free class for the week. The telephone number you can call to schedule your free class is 773-769-7017. 773-769-7017. We have separate classes for the women, and we have co-ed classes as well. And of course, we have classes for our children.
Yes, ma'am. So my next question is, what support do you need from the community to continue this work at scale? And how can people get involved to donate or to support the upcoming conference? So that's two parts.
Well, from the donation aspect, we are looking to get 300 children. We're looking to not to just donate to the conference, but donate for the youth to come to the conference. So we are galvanizing and doing things all around the country looking for supporters to help and sponsor other children, and that's only $67 to get the children involved.
Okay, okay. And they could go to the VSKJujitsu.com to make that
That is
happen.
correct. Yes, the VSKJujitsu.com, and that's once again
for sponsorship.
yes, and it'll say for sponsorship, and you'll be able to do that and sponsor a child or children.
Okay, sounds great. So
And
that
add to that, Sister Imani, exactly what he said. And in addition, of course, one of the greatest ways you can support is by your presence.
Yeah.
Making sure that you are there, because it's a transformational experience. And then people who are watching your podcast, we thank you for having us on your show, because we're able to spread the word by having these conversations with individuals like yourself. And that's so important. And it takes on another meaning. If somebody is watching your show, share this information. Send it out to everybody you know. Start a discussion yourself about, how important it is for us to have a training. That little bit will go a long way.
Yes.
That's right. And this video will last me forever, because from now on, when people are asking me for information, how can I help with, whether it's with their children or their family, I'm going to lead them right to this video. I'm going to lead them to a clip, send it to their phone.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to be doing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Period. So a couple of things. We're going to end with a treat. My producer let me know. We get to play the clip on the youth, and we're going to end with that. But before we do, I want to know what's your slice of wisdom for our listeners today. We always give a slice of wisdom for the youth, but I'm just going to say for our listeners.
Yes.
Okay.
Good, Cal.
Oh man, there's two pieces of information or quotes that really guide me, especially when it's from training. One is Brother Steve Muhammad, Sijo Sabir Muhammad, at a national training. One of the earlier ones, he mentioned that when a person is in a crisis situation, all they have to fall back on is what they have prepared for. And if they have not prepared for anything, they have nothing to fall back on. That's one. The second one, I was in a class with Dr. Abdul Azziz Muhammad once, and he talked about being comfortable. But what he said was, I quote, he said, "It's not impressing me if you can do 100 push-ups. If your maximum is 100 push-ups and that's all you can do," he said, "I'll be impressed if you can do 101, right?" And so that's just something to live by, never to be comfortable as long as you're living where you are. So whatever you've learned, you can expand on it.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Well, I guess we'd be letting the doc go last. I was really trying to think hard about what my one slice of wisdom is, but I'm going to come from where I naturally am as a woman, a mother, and my one slice of wisdom is to be able to learn as much as you can learn so that you can teach as many as you can teach. And with that, to teach in love and patience, because that's what our youth needs. And as we know, when we said 75% of the work is with a woman, we also know that when a woman teaches, she teaches a nation. As opposed to when a man teaches, he teaches an individual. So we have a lot of responsibility. So we need, my one slice is get the knowledge, get the wisdom, but most importantly, get the understanding and share.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I should have gone first. Well, no, I have to reiterate the idea of love. The more you love a thing, the more you'll do it. And the more you love a person, the more you will want for them to not be in a condition where they are deprived of anything. So loving your neighbor and yourself. When you love yourself, you will not allow yourself to not be prepared for someone who doesn't care about yourself. So I would just say let's make sure that we operate with love, and love is not weak. You see, I'm not saying love being the little soft kind of love, I'm saying love enough to save your life. Love enough to help somebody save theirs.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, that was a beautiful way to end. I want to thank you all again. It's been my honor to have you all on as guests. And I just can't wait until the conference.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
They got to see you. They got to see you rolling too.
That's right.
They don't know. They see you making pies.
Right. They used to be making pies, but I have a clip. I'm going to find it. Mama Aziza beating me up. Doc. Oh, she threw me something, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna put it into a clip, and I'm gonna go worldwide with it as proof of what I go through.
You were scaring me. I thought you were gonna have the clip with her beating me up.
Oh.
That one got lost somewhere.
She's tough though, but the beauty of it is you all always hug us after you beat us up, right, brother?
That's right.
It always ends with love.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, your parents would always tell you, "I'm only doing this because I love you."
That's right. That's right. So that reminds me now, everybody knows the one thing I do not like doing is running. You can get me with the jumping jacks, you can get me with the push-up, anything. Please don't make me run. One time, I tell this over and over, it was 6 a.m. Doc, you remember the classes at 6 a.m.? Well, I was the only one that showed up. Everybody else was late. I'm not the only one that showed up. Everybody else was late. So the gym said, well, let's get started. And we started running. So our normal this talks about a lot about what you just said, Brother Calvin. He said run. So we normally run, I think, 10 times around the dojo. So I'm like, good, okay. So I'm running behind him and we make it through. Good. So now we can go to the next thing. He stopped, turned around and said, now your turn. Now he's going to follow me. So that means I have to run 10 more. I don't know how I made it through. Well, I do know it was only a lot because I don't but I made it. And I want to thank you for always pushing us to be our best and to do our best. The best of our best.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Thank you so much.
With that, I can leave you all as we came together in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Here's that clip we promised.
Not just a division, like an offshoot or a section, but I say the other half of the conference is the youth division. That's the other half of this conference.
It's something about the spirit of this team, of the youth division, or the second half, as Brother Grandmaster Abdul Azziz said, of this national training conference. The spirit that you all have is so contagious.
We've opened up for people in the community because it is about everybody being prepared. We have our neighbors and our friends outside of the nation prepared, then we have better preparation for ourselves and our families as well.
This is not just martial arts. This is so much more. The martial arts is an additional component that is really the smallest part of what you're getting, because your mind has to be stronger than your body, but your body has to be strong enough to manage what your mind comes up with. Listen, join that. Register now. Don't waste any time. Register now.
Triumph over trials. A call for strength, faith, and preparedness.
Register you and the entire family at the VSK Jiujitsu.com. Don't miss it.
Picking up the best, and honey's original. A color above the rest. Sweet, savory, every bite's divine. Bean pie's fresh every single time. Taste the magic in every slice. Come on, now don't think twice.